requirements. To qualify for allocation, one must have contributed at least 12.5% of the value of their preferred house. The law for the states that allocation is conducted through a lottery system run by the State Department for Housing and Urban Development. The process is designed to be regular, fair, and transparent, free of any human intervention. That's according to the Boma Yangu portal. And the units are also restricted to first-time owners and beneficiaries who intend to occupy the property rather than resell or rent out. The problem is the law exists, but presidential pronouncements is what Kenyans go by. So when the president comes and gives promises, 20% to teachers, 20% to the disciplined forces, that's already 40% of all houses. Then more dished out to sportsmen and women, then what happens to the rest of Kenyans? And one wonders, will that happen, or these are simply political statements and we should rely on the law?
Yeah, I think, thank you, Fred. Thank you for hosting us. Maybe before I come to the issue of the housing issue, I would want to take this opportunity, Fred, to appreciate our athletes. You know, the two who won gold yesterday have done this country proud. And one of the things I really appreciate is when I see Kenya be ranked after USA. You know, it just says a lot. And I think anytime I watch these athletes winning gold, that's the only time it reminds me of the statement, najifunia kuwa Mkenya. You know, the rest is just tunang'ang'ana tu kuwa wa Kenya. But on the same note, Fred, I think it's also important we condole with about 3 families. The first one is the family of the lawyer who was murdered. The second is the family of the Musai Chungwa, who is the father to our majority leader, who passed on. And in my village, we've lost one of retired teachers who has contributed a lot to our education in the village. So I would really want to condole with those 3 families and pray that God's grace be sufficient during this difficult time. But coming to the housing, I think what is happening, Fred, it just confirms that this issue of housing was not well thought out. If you look at the Kenya Kwanza manifesto, they promised every year they will be constructing between 200,000 to 250,000, so that in 5 years they will have done about 1 million housing units. And then, as you say, the law is very clear on how those units should be given to Kenyans, and who qualifies and who doesn't qualify. And I remember when we were discussing that law, because I was part of the team which was discussing it, initially the question we're asking is, those who contribute and have houses, how are they going to benefit from these houses? The earlier proposal was you make it like you contribute and then at some point you could also access a loan to buy a house. But after facing some challenges, technical challenges, I think we agreed to just build a levy, like the way you pay a taxi and after paying you cannot claim anything. So on the basis of that, there is a clear framework in terms of what needs to be done once these houses are constructed. First of all, we are falling short, far too short of what was expected. So even if the ones we are constructing in terms of what should have been constructed and what has been constructed, we are doing very badly. Now, despite doing that badly, then it comes to the issue of allocating what has been constructed. And what has happened over time, we seem to have left this to the president and forgotten there is a law. There is no harm in this country teachers getting houses. But the question is, do they qualify? Do they fit the criteria which is well captured in the law? There is no harm when we see our footballers being given housing. We're happy that they get houses. But the question is then, does it fit into the law? And if it doesn't, then it means at the end of the day, we are going to have a framework which will not be enforced. And that's where issues of corruption come in. And I've watched the PS housing many times, trying to explain what they plan to do once these houses are constructed. And what the president is doing is far from what the PS explains to Kenyans. So, as we have said many times, we want to see more actions than talking. And I like what Honorable Kiro has said, that some of the statements we are seeing are just promises to entice, the people who are going to set out that if you will continue electing me or give me a second term, things can be better. But to me, the question we should be asking as Kenyans is, we have so many promises which were given during the last campaigns. And I like anytime I watch the debate about Route 23, I like that debate because it's educating Kenyans in terms of what was promised and what has happened. The truth of the matter is, the performance of this particular government is below expectation. And we have said, at times I've given them that. You remember, in this show, I've given them 30% most of it in terms of achievement. But now, when objective, we look at it now, objective assessment of their performance is actually leading to about 5% achievement. Meaning we have even been very generous in terms of assessing them. And I think what they're doing is they're just trying all tricks in the book to get a second term. How I wish that Kenyans will remain alert, will remain smart to see the tricks being played behind the scenes.
But listening to the President, Bwana Odede, would Kenyans be justified to say that this whole plan for affordable housing was not meant to benefit the general public? It is down to the President to decide who benefits, because he's the one now saying teachers will get 20%, police and military will get 20%. Other Kenyans who contribute and who are hoping to probably benefit are wondering, okay, so where does that leave us? Are we right to say that, okay, fine, probably the promise that this was going to benefit the general public was not true?
Thank you, Fred. Like my elder here have started with the congratulations to our athletes. And of course, the messaging comes as a good news to Kenyans, and I believe, but it made me thought about something. Why